Hello and welcome to the class. Dear students, the topic which we are going to discuss today is about models of entrepreneurship. Introduction. The entrepreneurial revolution that captured our imagination during the late 1990s has now permeated every aspect of livelihoods. Many attempts on the models at accelerating the growth of entrepreneurship in different areas have yielded a variety of experiences. Some were highly successful, others disappointing, and perhaps the majority were the cases that had the possibility of considerable success if certain improvements were made. The 21st century presents newer and sometimes more complex challenges than ever before conceived. Indeed, the process of transforming creative ideas into commercially viable business continues to be a major challenge. Successful entrepreneurship requires more than merely luck and money. It is a cohesive process of creativity, risk-taking, and planning. The knowledge and researches in entrepreneurship are continuously emerging, the outcome of which leads to different interesting entrepreneurial models which have far-reaching implications in agriculture. Of late, the new agroeconomic opportunities have offered a great scope for entrepreneurship development of agribusiness, especially in rural areas of our country. In order to unfold and reap the opportunities available for developing entrepreneurship in agriculture, one has to critically comprehend proven models of entrepreneurship and develop new discourses of agri-entrepreneurship models. First of all, let us talk about Keough's conceptual model of entrepreneurship. J.J. Keough, in his book Entrepreneurship, Creativity and Organization, has developed a conceptual model of entrepreneurship. The model is represented in Figure 1. This model of entrepreneurship is known as the eco-analysis framework. That is, ECO stands for Entrepreneurship, Creativity and Organization. According to Keough, entrepreneurship and creativity result from the interrelationships of the following three elements as shown in Figure 1. The person, that is element 1, the task, that is element 2, the organizational context, that is element 3. Element 1. The person is the most important element. New ideas are not generated or implemented by organization or technology, but come into being through efforts of dedicated people. So, for entrepreneurial talent, it is important to understand people's personality, skills, motivation, levels of experience, and psychological preferences. Element 2. The task is what a group of people or organization does, leading to an output or outcome. Tasks may be determined by an individual's personality or private vision. They are shaped by organizational strategy and influenced by the external environment. The task includes perceiving of opportunities, marshalling of resources, and providing leadership qualities appropriate for entrepreneurial growth. Element 3. The organizational context is the immediate setting in which creative and entrepreneurial work takes place. Factors like organizational structure and systems, the guidelines of work or task, group culture, etc. have significant bearing on the nature of the creative or entrepreneurial environment. Finally, the above elements exist in an environment which refers to the outside world surrounding the organization. Environment includes in it the available resources, infrastructure, competitive pressures, social values, rules and regulations, state of technology. Environment too can facilitate or impede creative and entrepreneurial endeavor. As such, the environment influences the enterprise creation significantly, and the most successful entrepreneur is one who adapts himself to the changing needs of the environment and makes it hospitable for the growth of his business enterprise. Now, let us talk about the integrated contextual model of entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is the outcome of a complex and varying combination of socio-economic, psychological, and other factors. The integrated contextual model developed by Abdul Aziz Mahmood is one of a good explanation of entrepreneurship. This model is illustrated in figure 2. Abdul Aziz Mahmood's integrated contextual model of entrepreneurship. It can be noticed from the figure 2 that economic, political and legal factors can be quickly manipulated to make the environment conducive to the emergence of entrepreneurship. On the other hand, the sociological and psychological factors take sufficiently long time to change. It may therefore be concluded that given a degree of ambition and ability, external environment rather than personality or ego are the major determinants of whether or not an individual becomes an entrepreneur. Now let us talk about the integrative model of entrepreneurial inputs and outputs. The integrative model of entrepreneurial inputs and outputs has been developed by Michael H. Morris, P. Lewis, and L. Sexton, presented in figure 3. This model is built around the concepts of input to the entrepreneurial process and outcomes from the entrepreneurial process. The input component of figure 3 focuses on the entrepreneurial process itself and identifies 5 key elements that contribute to the process. First is environmental opportunities such as demographic change, the development of a new technology, or a modification to current regulation. Next is the individual entrepreneur, the person who assumes personal responsibility for conceptualizing and implementing a new venture. The entrepreneur develops some type of business concept to capitalize on the opportunity, that is, example, a creative approach to solve a particular customer need. Implementing the business concept typically requires some type of organizational context, which could range from a sole proprietorship run out of the entrepreneur's home or a franchise of some national chain to an autonomous business unit within a large corporation. Finally, a wide variety of financial and non-financial resources are required on an ongoing basis. These key elements are then combined throughout the stages of the entrepreneurial process. Stated differently, the process provides a logical framework for organizing entrepreneurial inputs. Figure 3. An integrative model of entrepreneurial inputs and outputs. The outcome component of Figure 3 first includes the level of entrepreneurship being achieved. Thus, the process can result in any number of entrepreneurial events and can produce events that vary considerably in terms of how entrepreneurial they are. Based on this level of entrepreneurial intensity, final outcome can include one or more going venture, value creation, new products and processes, new technologies, profit, jobs, and economic growth. Moreover, the outcome can certainly be failure and thereby bringing about the economic, psychic and social cost associated with failure. This model not only provides a fairly comprehensive picture regarding the nature of entrepreneurship, but can also be applied at different levels. For example, the model describes the phenomenon of entrepreneurship in both the independent startup, company, and within a department, division, or strategic business unit of a large corporation. Coming to entrepreneurial assessment model. The entrepreneurial assessment model has been developed by Robert C. Ronstadt. He stresses on making assessments qualitatively, quantitatively, strategically, and ethically in regard to the entrepreneur, the venture, and the environment. The model has been lucidly depicted in Figure 4. Figure 4. Entrepreneurial Assessment Model. To examine entrepreneurship, the results of these assessments must be compared to the stage of the entrepreneurial career, early mid-career, or late. Ronstadt termed this process the entrepreneurial perspective. Now, let us discuss about Corey's model of entrepreneurial development cycle. Entrepreneurship is behavior rather than a personality trait. It is risky in the sense that only a few of them know what they are doing. The whole process of developing an entrepreneur, making him start a venture, supporting and sustaining him involves a cyclic process. M.P. Corey suggested the model on entrepreneurial development cycle as shown in Figure 5. Consists of the following components for the promotion and development of entrepreneurship. First, stimulatory phase. The stimulatory activities help in the emergence of entrepreneurs in society. They prepare the background wherefrom entrepreneurship can sprout. This generates the initial entrepreneurial motivation. This initial phase would include all such activities that stimulate activities such as A. Generating entrepreneurial awareness in the community through well-planned publicity. B. Identifying and selecting potential entrepreneurs. C. Helping them through training to raise their motivational level. D. Improving their skills in modern management methods. E. Developing technical competence relevant to the product selected. F. Helping them to develop project report. G. Making available techno-economic information and project profiles. H. Entrepreneurs to select new products. I. Developing a data bank on new products and process available to the target group. J. Evolving new products and processes available to the local situation. K. Public recognition of entrepreneurial excellence. The stimulatory activities help in the emergence of entrepreneurs in the society. They prepare the platform wherefrom the entrepreneurship can be developed. People start looking for entrepreneurial pursuits. It generates the initial motivation, help people perceive incentives, and also offers opportunity to acquire relevant information and skills. All these taken together help stimulate entrepreneurship in a society. Figure 5. Model on entrepreneurial development cycle. Second, support phase. The support activities provide infrastructure facilities, resources, abilities, and skills to entrepreneurs for enterprise launching and management. These activities provide nurturance and helps the already stimulated entrepreneur to move ahead to reach his goal. This includes all such activities that help entrepreneurs in establishing and running their enterprises. The activities in this phase may include registration of the unit, arranging finance of any type, that is fixed capital or working capital, helping in purchase of plant and machinery, providing land, shade, power, water, etc. for establishing the unit, guidance for selecting and obtaining plant and machinery layout, issue of license for scarce raw materials, providing common facilities, granting tax relief and other type of subsidy, offering management consultancy, assisting in marketing the product either through reservation or assigning government quota, purchase, etc., and providing information related to industry. The list is not exhaustive and may include anything that helps the entrepreneur to establish and run a unit. This group of activity provides nurturance and helps the already stimulated entrepreneur to move ahead in achieving his immediate goal of setting up and running his enterprise. These activities remove many hurdles which are likely to cause sickness or discourage the new entrepreneurs. Third, sustaining phase. Sustaining activities refer to all such efforts that facilitate growth and continuity through expansion, modernization, diversification, and technology upgradation of ongoing enterprises and rehabilitation of sick units. Activities in this phase that help the entrepreneur are continuous, efficient, and profitable for an enterprise. After the stimulation of entrepreneurship and subsequent adequate support, the entrepreneur succeeds in starting his units. Quite often, however, an entirely new set of problems crop up before him once he commences production. He may not be fully prepared for some of them. It may be not profitable and non-viable due to many unforeseen and uncontrollable factors. The small industries are susceptible to a variety of vagaries. Even well-managed units may suffer closure for want of raw materials, lack of availability of substitutes, change of skilled hands, etc. Such casualties are comparatively higher in the small units and require a lot of sustaining activities by the promotional agencies. The sustaining activities may include helping in modernization or diversification, expansion, or product substitution. Additional financing for full capacity utilization, deferring repayment or interest depending on the situation. Help and guidance in diagnosing the cause of failure or low production or profit. Modification of change in legislation or policy affecting marketing. Quality testing and quality improvement of low cost, and finally, creating common facilities which are not feasible in a single unit but are needed by the unit both in production and marketing. Now, let us discuss about the corporate entrepreneurship model. A corporate entrepreneurship, that is CE, strategy is defined as a vision-directed, organization-wide reliance on entrepreneurship behavior that purposefully and continuously rejuvenates the organization and shapes the scope of the operations through the recognition and exploitation of entrepreneurial opportunity. As is true for all strategies, a corporate entrepreneurship strategy should be thought of in continuous rather than dichotomous terms. Stated more directly, corporate entrepreneurship strategies vary in their degree of entrepreneurial intensity. Developed by researchers Jeffrey G. Covin, R. Dwayne Allen, and Donald F. Quatko, Figure 6 presents a model illustrating how a corporate entrepreneurship strategy is manifested through the presence of three elements: an entrepreneurial strategic vision, a pro-entrepreneurship organizational architecture, and entrepreneurial processes and behavior as exhibited across the organizational hierarchy. This model has several linkages which include 1. Individual entrepreneurial cognitions of organizations, members. 2. External environmental conditions that invite entrepreneurial activity. 3. Top management's entrepreneurial strategic vision for the firm. 4. Organizational architectures that encourages entrepreneurial process and behavior. 5. The entrepreneurial processes that are reflected in entrepreneurial behavior. And 6. Organizational outcomes resulting from entrepreneurial actions. Figure 6. The corporate entrepreneurship strategy model. The model suggests that individual entrepreneurial cognitions and external environment conditions are the initial impetus for adopting a CE strategy, and outcomes are assessed to provide justification for the strategy, continuance, modification, or rejection. The CE strategy itself is reflected in three elements: an entrepreneurial strategic vision, a pro-entrepreneurship organizational architecture, and entrepreneurial processes and behavior as exhibited through the organization. CE strategy cannot simply be consciously chosen and quickly enacted the way some strategies such as acquisition can be consciously chosen and quickly enacted. This is so because it requires more than just a decision, act, or event. It requires the creation of congruence between the entrepreneurial vision of the organization's leaders and the entrepreneurial actions of those throughout the organization, as facilitated through the existence of a pro-entrepreneurship organizational architecture. CE strategy is about creating self-renewing organizations through the unleashing and focusing of the entrepreneurial potential that exists throughout those organizations. It is also about consistency in approach and regularity in behavior. Firms engaging in CE strategies must encourage entrepreneurial behavior on a relatively regular or continuous basis. Obviously, how extensively firms must engage in entrepreneurial behavior before the presence of a CE strategy can be claimed in a matter of degree. At one end of the continuum is stability, the absence of innovation, with chaos overwhelming innovation being at the other. After all the discussions we had, we can conclude that varied models which have been developed by distinguished researchers are deemed successful contextually. A model which is successful in one environment cannot be expected to succeed as effectively in another culture. However, all models ascribe a functional role to the entrepreneur in the productive process, and entrepreneurial rewards are explained by the degree of success attained by fulfilling that function. Each of the models discussed have the commonality of having being multitude of internal as well as external factors. Keeping in view the agricultural entrepreneurial opportunities of our country, viable integrative agri-entrepreneurship models should be developed and validated for application and practices.